Oh, baby, the live Locked On Pistons Squad Show starts right now. Probably the most anticipated, highly anticipated Locked On Pistons Squad Show. You got two-time NBA champ Lindsey Hunter alongside host of Locked On Pistons, Khahil. My name is Jake Riepma. I kick it over to Koo. The comeback is complete. On to round two.
I had a lot of words to eat, apparently. I had to go into a whole costume because they pulled it off. But we're happy we're here, and second round, here we come.
Absolutely. I think I'm a little happy, more relieved than happy.
This is Locked On's Pistons Squad Show, the twice-a-week show where Pistons talk gets real. No filters, no fluff, just raw takes, sharp opinions, and straight-up passion for the game. The way only Locked On Podcast Network knows how. Let's drop some dimes and squad up. The Pistons Squad Show starts now.
And here we go. We've had a couple of days to collect our thoughts and try to explain what transpired and what we witnessed for the Pistons coming all the way back from down 3-1 to taking the series in Game 7 over the Orlando Magic. Welcome one, welcome all. It's on to round two. We're not going to spend... Well, we might spend some time looking in the rearview mirror because a lot has happened, but we'll also get you ready for game number 1 tonight. As always, your comments are welcome. We look forward to reading the chat. My name is Jake Riepma. You got two-time NBA champ Lindsey Hunter here, as well as host of the Locked On Pistons, Khahil. And Lindsey, I got to kick it to you first. Koo, you were in the building as well. Lindsey, you were in the building. Starting chance, the atmosphere, it was everything you could ask for a Game 7 dub.
It was exciting. And I think everybody kind of felt like after that comeback in Game 6, there's no way we were losing Game 7. And the guys, they responded and they played that way. I think the biggest thing for me was watching two young stars, man, really show everybody that they are. You know, I think Cade has already solidified himself as and I was arguing on our crossover podcast earlier. I was like, has Cade solidified himself as the best American-born basketball player? Has he?
But I talked recently.
Because you can argue that. I feel like he has. It's him and Ant Edwards.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think Cade has solidified himself. But man, Paolo, he looked scary. I was like, yo, if this dude plays like this is gonna be Orlando has a bright future. If he can play like he elevated during the playoffs at 6'10", 270, there's nothing that he can't do on a basketball court. That's scary. But nonetheless, the Pistons came out and took care of business Game 7. The atmosphere was electric. The Angel Reese chants were going crazy.
Yes. Hey, we got to get into that. And I know we got so much more to get into, but we got to shed some light on that. Our guy, Lindsey Hunter, just letting Wendell Carter letting him know about it with the Angel Reese chant.
Yeah, and people were like, Lindsey, why were you doing that? I said, she started it. I said, I didn't start this.
It's not complicated. It's simple.
Right. It's just simple. You mess with us in Detroit, hey, we mess with you back. That's how banter works.
The
We
crazy
just so
thing
happen to
is
get the
that
last word.
the crazy thing is that this chant where Lindsey, I was right above where Lindsey was, chat. So I was up in the media seating. But the section that Lindsey was in was what started the chant. Like it started off quieter, but this section was starting, and then everyone started picking up on it, and then the whole arena was chanting it. I couldn't believe it. It was absolutely insane.
I loved it.
But I feel like we should talk about a little bit end of Game 6, man. Game 6, that second half, that was the best defensive half I've ever seen in my life. Lindsey, have you seen a better defensive half than that second half the Pistons had?
Of course I have. I played on the greatest defensive team of all time. What do you mean? We were holding teams under 70 points.
Did it hold up to you guys? Did it like, oh, that looked like us out there? Was it at least that?
It was in a way, but you know how we played. We were like pressure up the court, causing chaos, turnovers, shot blocking. We just caused total chaos. They did it a little more methodically. Like they were, they weren't getting beat off the dribble as much. as we were accustomed to this entire series. Guys were really meeting people at the rim. I mean, it was a great defensive effort to what we've been accustomed to all season, and that's what we've been asking for. And I keep arguing with people about, because everybody keeps saying the same thing. Well, the Pistons can't score enough. They can't score enough, and I'm like, dude. All right, I guess everything has changed in basketball now. Defense really doesn't win championships anymore. So I don't know, but if the Pistons can play halfway like they played that second half, the rest of this playoffs will be fine.
Man, that third quarter and fourth quarter, the totals allowed in those two quarters, I think the third quarter was the fourth least allowed in a quarter, and then the fourth quarter was the second, I believe, least allowed in a quarter. Right. To have that happen in back-to-back and to come back down 24 is absolutely insane. Once they did that, I mean, I was nervous going to Game 7 because it's just like, let's close it out, let's win. But going into Game 7, it really felt like there's no way they're going to lose this game. There's no way.
I was having a Friday night meltdown in the first half. I mean, I was cussing out loud and just, pacing. And you talk about a switch being flipped and the difference between, somebody that was blind would be able to see the difference in that game. That's how drastic it was going into the second half. And, right. You guys are both right. When that switch flipped and a culmination of Orlando going into a funk, Detroit's defense, everything else, I just felt like, holy smokes, this team is the light bulb has gone off. And it was all of a sudden, obviously Cade propelling the comeback, but Duncan was making shots. Obviously Tobias was huge in Game 7 as well.
Man, he was huge the whole series.
Yes.
Yeah, he was best series of his life, best playoff series of his life.
Yeah.
But to hold a team to 19 points, and I think my favorite crazy stat was somebody tracked the amount of real time that elapsed between points for the Magic, and they went 45 minutes without scoring. Imagine being a fan in that arena, sitting there for 45 minutes and not seeing your team
just snatch their heart. I mean, that's what happened. They just snatched their heart in that second half. I mean, it was absolutely. I have never seen something like it. It was. They completely snatched their heart, man. It was crazy. I want to hit on real quickly too. Cade in the final 3 games. Each one of these games were do or die, back against the wall. If you lose either one of these games, you will be talked about, laughed at on national TV. You will be, the Pistons are frauds. Cade isn't that good. He's not a superstar, blah, blah, blah. The pressure is on him to show up down 3-1. And he had one of the best 3-game stretches that, bro, over those last 3 games, 36 points, 7 assists. He shot 52% from the field, almost 90% from the free throw line, while getting to the line 12 times a game, and shot 61% from 3. Just bona fide superstar. I felt like I said this on the podcast, there was multiple stretches during those final 3 games where I felt like I was watching the best player in the world. Like multiple stretches, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is top 5 in the NBA kind of stuff. This is insane what we're seeing. He just picked them apart, man. It was, to have someone like that in a Pistons uniform be able to do something like that was just absolutely crazy to see.
No, man, he is absolutely a phenomenon to watch, especially how methodical. I think I always compare him to, he's more in the mold of a scorer. Everybody tries to compare him to like SGA, but he scores more like Luka.
Yeah,
than SGA. Yeah, he scores more like Luka. Methodical, can't get sped up, And when he is in that mode, man, it's like, okay, I'm yelling at him, get the ball every time. I'm like, get the ball, Cade. What are you doing? Like, but he is, man. I think in his career in elimination games, I think he's at 31 points a game, 40% from 3. Like his eliminating game stats are insane. And that's the true sign of a guy that is a superstar that can step it up in the most, stressful time of a basketball game. He does it with no fear, and, you can't even tell he's sweating out there the way he plays.
Yeah, no doubt.
Cade, during the regular season, let's go back to last offseason. All offseason, I heard from some of his people in his camp that, and I asked him about it when the season started, media day, the pull-up three-point shot. Last year against the Knicks, they dared him to hit pull-up threes. They went under his screens, they hedged, and gave him the hedge gap threes, and he wasn't able to get it going. I wrote a big article last summer going through each three-point attempt he had. In Game 6, I think he went 1 of 8 or 1 of 9 on hedge gap threes because he knew it was there. He tried to get it going, just couldn't make them. But he spent all offseason focusing on that. He spent all offseason working on his pull-up three, and this year it jumped to 35% on pull-up threes. Right. And these final 3 games, he killed them on pull-up threes. He killed them on step-back threes. There was no going under. There was no playing off of him. He absolutely was killing them. If he's able to hit pull-up threes and make teams pay for going under or trying to hedge and recover, it's going to be incredibly hard to stop him. That plus his ability now to draw free throws, Lindsey, that's been huge. Yeah. There was the first few years of his career, we were begging for him to get calls. And now we're in a stretch where he's drawing 12 a game. Like, he's so much more aware. You're seeing him become so much more mature as a star. I mean, he's electrifying, man.
Right. The thing Cade doesn't do that a lot of these other guys do, he doesn't foul bait. I don't see him out there trying to bait people for foul. He just plays through a lot of contact. And one time when he went to the basket with his left hand, he got hit in the face.
Oh, on the dunk, left hand, yeah.
And he didn't over exaggerate it, so they didn't give him a call. And I'm like, man, that's a foul. Like, bro, don't do. And I that's the one thing about the NBA that I don't like. Like, guys shouldn't have to over embellish a foul to get it. Like, a foul is a foul, and the fact that Cade doesn't flop and do all this other extra unnecessary stuff, he gets penalized sometimes for that.
No, I thought that same thing. He was like so smooth through contact,
right?
Because it didn't break his stride. It was like, oh, the referee just didn't see it. Like, you got to be better than that as an official.
Well, I'm going to say this: Tony Brothers was the ref, so he's not better than that. He's the worst ref ever created by refereeing gods. He's terrible. Every time I see that man coming to call a Pistons game, I cringe, and I just want to just go throw a bucket of water at him. He is awful.
You got some PTSD there.
Man, Tony Brothers sucks.
Oh, and that is chat. That is not that is as legit as it gets, because Lindsey texted us that exact same sentiment live in the moment. So that is not an act by any means. Real quick before we take one quick timeout. Cade Cunningham, the first player in NBA history with 30-plus points, 10-plus assists, 2-plus blocks, 2-plus three-pointers in a Game 7. So talk about doing it all. But we do have more to talk about, because I want to get into more of Tobias Harris. I want to get into Jalen Duren and Duncan Robinson and the supporting cast and everything else. And, we don't see a lot of Magic fans in the chat. Didn't think they would.
Yeah, where'd you guys go? Come back. Come back to me. Please. Come back to me.
That's what we should just do. We should have Lindsey just sing the rest of the way. But no, we got so much more to get into. We're just getting started right here on a live Locked On Pistons Squad Show. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Pistons Squad Show is brought to you by our good friends over at Game Time. Hey, the NBA playoffs are here. Did you know that? There's nothing like playoff basketball live. The intensity of the crowd, the rivalries, it's a completely different experience when you're in the building. You might hear an Angel Reese chant start from Lindsey Hunter. You never know. The NBA playoffs are where unforgettable moments happen, and being there in person just hits a little bit different. And Game Time makes it all possible, because I'm telling you what, Game Time gives the advantage back to the fans. It's incredibly easy to find tickets, even though it's hard to get playoff games like a Game 7. It's just a few taps. And with Game Time's guarantee, you're getting 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Game Time makes it easy to find great seats in just a couple of minutes. I love the zone deals. That's right. You might know what section you want to sit. Leave it to Game Time to find the best price within that section. But But the very best, if you take nothing else, take this. The price you see is the price you pay. What a concept, right? No surprise fees at checkout. It's the lowest price guarantee and ticket coverage. That way you can feel confident every time you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, that's promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, and create that account. Redeem the code spelled out LOCKEDON, $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. We're back with you on a live Locked On Pistons Squad Show. I'm just going to keep referring to it as the most highly anticipated Locked On Pistons Squad Show in Squad Show history, because this is a brief history. We're going on a couple of months, right? But the timing couldn't have worked out any better. We just ramped it up to the playoffs, and now we're in our groove. We're rolling and on to round number 2, which of course we'll get into later in the program. But tons of comments, still tons of chatter to get into, and that Game 7 win. Khahil, you were in the building as well. Aside from the Angel Reese chants, when you're you're taking through your notes and your study, what stood out to you?
So I think it has to be Lindsey. I don't know how much you've watched of his. I'm assuming you've watched his career quite a bit, but I have never in my life, I mean, never in my life have I seen Tobias Harris talk as much trash and be as animated as he was in this Game 7. Even watching back the highlights, I didn't even notice he was giving them the too small after he scored half the time. Like, I didn't even see that part. Like, he was giving them the too small. He was clapping in Paolo's face. He was giving him the what's his 3-point celebration, the call after every shot. There was one he did it and started stunting backwards. I was like,
he was on one.
I'm like, what is happening? He scored him on Paolo, started clapping, got down defensive stance, pointed at Paolo, looked directly at him, started clapping his face. I'm like, dog, Tobias is the most well-mannered, like, great dude, great guy, just composed, never really shows a lot of emotion. Like, that is not Tobias.
But if you remember, Khahil and Jake, Paolo was really disrespectful to Tobias a while ago. Like, flat out disrespectful. Like, yeah, I would have been ready to fight. He would have said something like that to me. Like, I'm like, oh, basketball's out the door. We fighting. You know what I'm saying?
And he ain't forget it. He was.
He didn't forget it.
He went absolute. I mean, this whole series, like you mentioned early, Lindsey, he was incredible for them the whole series. I put Tobias's jersey in the rafters, but Detroit, let him retire here. He will be loved by Detroit forever, for the rest of his life, for the rest of his career. For him to be able to show up how he did in this series, when the Pistons needed a secondary scorer, they needed someone that could just get to 20 points on just decent efficiency. Just get them to 20 points. It's going to be a low-scoring series, a physical battle. They need someone else to do it.
Right.
And Tobias, not only did he do it, he showed up, hit some clutch baskets. Man. He was able to attack closeout to get downhill. He was able to hit some threes at the end of this series. He was really the only other person they trusted to create any type of offense. And then for him to show up how he did in this Game 7, to play by far the best playoff game of his career.
Right.
It was, and for him to do it the way in which he was doing it, it was what made it so entertaining. It's so amazing. Tobias is absolutely, he's going to be loved by me forever. I mean, that's a performance that I will never forget. And what he did in this series, I won't ever forget it. He was absolutely insane and incredible. Cade called it after the game in the presser. He said he's the perfect veteran to have around. They all love him. I mean, that's the best way to describe it.
Right. No, he was phenomenal, man. I'm saying, like, when I saw him, he made one shot on the baseline when it was a double clutch.
Oh, yep.
When he made that shot, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
He's feeling it. Like, he's in a zone right now. And he proved the fact that everybody was talking about, oh, we need somebody to step up. Well, Tobias, almost 22 points a game in this series. Like, that within itself, for him and for all the people that, doubted him all these years and said, oh, he's just a, marginal.
Trade him for a crumble cookie.
Yeah. I mean, I know that had to feel good for him and for us to watch it and to do it in the timely fashion, the way he did when we really needed it. outstanding. I feel so good for him, and hopefully this carries over into this this Cleveland series because we're going to need him to do some of the similar things.
I mean, a chat just brought up, excuse me, that he had 9 rebounds in that game. Tobias averaged 8 rebounds in this series. I mean, it wasn't just offense either. He was all over the place on the glass. He helped them nonstop because Duren was going after a lot of shots to the rim protect. So was Stu. And when you do that, you need your weak side guys to come down, crash down, be able to secure the rebound because you're in the air. And Tobias and Ausar, I thought those two guys did a great job of constantly being down there. Tobias was active on the glass. He also was really good defensively. I mean, in this game 7, Lindsey mentioned it earlier, Paolo was hitting crazy shots in the first half. If he wasn't hitting crazy shots, the Pistons probably up by 20 plus at halftime.
Right.
The shots that he was hitting, the offense that the Magic were getting was not sustainable. You saw in the second half, they started to cool down. Paolo cooled down. They couldn't get anything going. And, look, Ausar is going to get a large chunk of that credit. Wu, Jalen Duren, Stu. But Tobias, he took the challenge of, I'm going to guard Paolo the entire series. I'm going to body him. I'm going to force him into tough shots. If he's hitting jumpers, so be it. But it's going to be tough for him getting to the basket. And I brought up the number in the last podcast. His drives, Paolo, how he scored in drives, got even worse. When he's hitting his jumper, I mean, you got to just dap him up. And he was doing that. But Tobias stayed with it. He was physical. He wasn't just scoring. He was on the glass. He was on, Tobias, man, there's JB said after the game, there's not enough adjectives to describe how good he was. And I mean, he's incredible.
The last note I had, and I had to check this twice just to make sure, because I knew he was efficient from the long line. Shout out George Blaha. But I also didn't know it was that good. He was 5 of 7 from deep, and it felt like every 3 he made, and obviously it's a game 7, the magnitude of every shot means a little bit more, but in the biggest moments, he was even hitting from deep, which I'm sure you guys saw the videos of him in like the training in the scuba pack and blindfold and everything like that. But hey, whatever he's doing, just keep it up because it's obviously working.
Because it wasn't working at first. I was getting mad for putting night vision goggles on.
Yeah.
Well, when you see that, I mean, I've talked about this all year, that with Cade, Duren, and Ausar, you need the other 2 guys on the floor to be able to hit outside shots when the defense crashes in on them. And you see, I mean, Tobias, all the things he did well, he wasn't able to hit the 3 early on. You saw how that kind of hurt. But you see, when he does, when you have 2 guys that are hitting shots, and even Duncan didn't shoot it as well as he does. I think it was 1 of 10 or 2 of 10 or something. But you see, when you get that 4 to hit 3s in this offense, all of a sudden they're not guarding Ausar. Oh, they're crashing down on Duren. All of a sudden that doesn't matter because they're actually making them pay for doing so. I mean, their offense looked completely fine in this game because they actually had someone making them pay for crashing down. I mean, Tobias was incredible, man. He was absolutely incredible.
He was.
No doubt about that. The other note, and I meant to say this earlier, but the Magic move on from Jamal Mosley. I think obviously the Pistons are to blame or credit for that, however you want to look at it. But the magnitude of blowing a 3-1 lead, you just don't survive that. And it'll be interesting to see, not that, this is by any means a Locked On Magic podcast, but just curious how they move forward given the roster construction that they have and searching for their new head coach.
I mean, yeah, there was talk about, it sounded like they were ready to fire him going into this.
Right.
I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why all of us thought the series wouldn't be that hard, because it felt like one player was out, one player didn't even want to be there. Coach, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, it felt like they were wanting to get out anyways. They extended the series longer, give them credit for that, but it felt like they had kind of decided that he was going to be gone. It feels like maybe even a month ago that they were going to be moving on.
Right, and the crazy part about it, if you look at the injury report for the season or Orlando, he wasn't playing with a full deck all year. Like, I think Paolo missed 40 games, Franz missed 50 games. Like, how can you expect a guy to function fully and have a team to compete when he doesn't have his main star players all year long? Now, he did a great job getting them to the play-in and getting them and being very competitive in the first round. So I just think it's a little unwarranted or unfair, I should say, for him to be prosecuted the way he was for, whatever they thought he should have done. I think he far exceeded their expectations of an injured team playing this year the way they did.
I mean, I think we there's probably an easy way to understand why they did it. There was reports coming out that Paolo just didn't like him, that him and Paolo did not get along, and that Paolo didn't like the way, that Paolo didn't like the way he had the offense. He didn't like taking the ball out of his hand. When your star player doesn't like the coach, the coach is probably on the hot seat.
Well, the thing about it, it didn't help either when Paolo came out earlier this year and said, we don't make adjustments as a team. And I'm like, what?
There were multiple shots thrown at each other throughout the year press conference. They just had subliminals back and forth.
Right. They're subtweeting each other in the live press conferences, going at each other. I got one other note from Game 7. Big broadcast nerd. You guys know that about me. I'm always dialed in. I thought the ESPN broadcast was awesome, but just like when Lisa Salters gave some love to our guy Lindsey Hunter, this time it was Richard Jefferson nonstop giving you some love, talking about how tough it was playing against that 2004 Detroit Pistons team. And obviously, some Eastern Conference battles with the New Jersey Nets. And he said, that Detroit team just came at you in so many ways. And, Chauncey and Rip and that guy, Lindsey Hunter, man, he'd just be all over you, and said how you just defend guys the whole way up the floor. But you remember playing against that New Jersey Nets team, and they were a run and go type of team as well.
Oh, definitely. Think about it. They had went to the finals, a couple of years with Byron Scott as their head coach, and had us on the ropes in the conference finals. We had to go to Jersey to win.
That's right.
So
Chauncey hit that long half-court shot to force overtime. People forget that New Jersey ended up winning that game.
Yeah, we lost that game. So we had to go to Jersey to handle business, and man, we had some straight up battles. I just remember battling Jason Kidd, and I was one of the few guys that because Jason Kidd was really fast. Mm-hmm. But I would always pick him up full court, and people would look and go, "You're picking him up like that?" I'm like, I'm older, but I'm probably still as fast as he is.
No doubt. All right, let's take one quick break and look ahead to a little Cleveland Cavaliers action. Unless I don't want to break too soon. You got any other notes on?
Only other thing I'd say is that look, Tobias was great, Cade was great. I think Asar had one of the best defensive series I've ever seen. He played like Draymond, basically. He played like a Draymond type of role for them, and they started to figure out some things in the half court for him offensively. And I think if they can do those things that we saw, it will pay off big time in the Cleveland series. Jalen Duren in Game 7 played the best defensive game I think I've ever seen him play. They had him a lot higher. I asked him about it after the game. They changed his coverage a little bit in pick and roll. Usually he's in a drop. They had him higher at the level, blitzing some, going with the ball handler. And to do that, you have to trust that your big man's going to give multiple efforts to then recover to the roller, be able to, you have to give multiple efforts to do that. And he did that. He was exceptional. It's the best defensive game I've seen him play. So Game 7, I thought, was the one game we finally saw the Pistons for a full 48 minutes, not stretches. Full 48 minutes looked like that defensive team. And a lot of that goes to how well Sar was and Jalen Duren. JB as well, give him a ton of credit for that adjustment. I really he saw what Paul Reed did in Game 6 and decided basically, well, we don't need to just do that with Paul Reed. Let's try to do it with Duren as well. And they did it, and it worked really well. So give JB a ton of credit for that adjustment, and Asar, and then obviously JD, who had a tough series, showed up big time in Game 7, held Wendell Carter just 5 rebounds in the last 2 games.
And I think, as you mentioned, Paul Reed, when he came in, he was energetic and did the things that he does best. I think Green did an excellent job. Whenever he was guarding Paolo, man, he was all over him. I was like, I like that matchup. I like when he's guarding Paul Reed. I like when Green is guarding Paolo, because he didn't back down. He didn't give him space. He was able to stay right underneath him and guard him. I was like, I love that matchup. Although he's given up a lot of height, but he did a good job of bothering Paolo and causing him some difficult times out there on the court. So I give kudos to those guys, man. Everybody that came in really stepped up and played. And Dennis Jenkins, Game 7.
Oh yeah,
man.
Oh, I'm so
he was on fire. I was like, okay, it's about time. We needed all these things to come together at the right time, and it did.
For sure. I'm so glad you said that, Lindsey. That's my bad all the way, because I had that in my notes and I was texting you guys about it, man. Like, this is just the guy we've been waiting to see, because we know he's got it. We know he's got it.
Yep.
And I hate when guys refer to other players as, oh, he's just a streaky player, because I think that kind of takes away from when things are going well for them, and kind of minimizes what they're capable of doing it by just saying, oh, he's streaky. But we saw more of who Danius Jenkins can be in that Game 7, and I really, really hope that he continues to play at that level into the second round against the Cavs. So that is what we will do next. We'll get you ready for Cavs Pistons Game 1 and look ahead to that series. Don't go anywhere. It's alive. Locked On Pistons Squad Show. Today's episode of the Locked On Pistons Squad Show is brought to you by our good friends over at Indeed. Workplace chaos, the deadlines, they're all stacking up. Your inbox is overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting wide open. When the pressure is on, you need the right hire. This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for. They've got the skills, experience, location, all of it. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. You can be sure of it. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Go there right now. Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about it on the Locked On Pistons Squad Show. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. If you need to hire, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
You ever watch a game and think, I need to know what these fans are saying about this team right now? On Reddit, you're plugged into millions of fans who are just as hopeful, dramatic, analytical, and loyal as you are. The Reddit app is for authentic conversations about anything and everything. I love that there are different team subreddits for every single NBA team, so I know that if the Knicks are dominating the Hawks like in that game the other day, you can go right to the Hawks subreddit and say, how much are they breaking down and crashing out right now? I can go straight to the NBA one and see all kinds of great things. Reddit is where real fans hang out. Download the Reddit app and dive into your favorite team or the Mavericks subreddit for hot takes, fresh memes, and the group chat that literally never sleeps. Download the Reddit app today.
All right, there we go. Shout out Nick Angstad. I always like when there's one less ad read I got to do and toss it over to the pros, put him on video. But that being said, hey, appreciate everybody tuning in. I think this is our largest show numbers wise. We got over 250 people watching, which we appreciate. Go ahead and sound off in your comments like you have been.
I have a trivia question.
Oh, we love a good trivia question. Let's do it. We got time for that.
So actually, before I say trivia, there was a quote that just came out from CP3. I guess I should read to you guys. He said about Cade. Cade Cunningham is one of those guys that you aren't going to rattle. He's been the man on every team that he's played on, and he's built for these moments. So CP3 gave Cade the stamp.
There you go.
So I have a trivia question. Lindsey knows that I'm the numbers guy. So he brought up something. He brought up something earlier that made me go look it up, and I was right. So I want to know if you guys can guess this. There's of the 4 players for the Pistons that were in the rotation for the first round series, which 4 players were the only ones to be a positive on-off? So basically, they were better with these players on the floor. Which 4 players do you think they dominated their minutes? When these 4 players were on the floor, they won.
Now, is this everybody or just starters?
Just the rotation players. So guys that played, not guys that play like 2 minutes like Chaz or but the rotation guys.
Okay. Of course, a sewer.
Yeah, that was my first one. I was like, I just knew that. I know the way Koo's brain works. And
yep.
Right.
He's number 2.
A sewer. Cade.
Cade's number 1.
Yep.
Tobias has got to be on
Tobias got to be in there.
Tobias is not.
No.
Dang.
Nope.
So if Tobias wasn't in there, it had to be Green.
Yep, he's number 3. That's what I thought was going to stop you guys. But yes, Javonte, when you said Javonte earlier, that's what caused this guy. I was like, I'm pretty sure they dominated Javonte Smith. Let me go look at this. And I saw, I was like, oh yeah, I got asked. So yeah, he's number 3. Do you guys know who the 4th one is?
Number 4.
Gotta be Paul Reed.
Paul Reed he was positive, but I didn't count him because he only played 20 minutes.
Fair enough. Yeah. Cause he really didn't get any time until 6 and 7, game 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. You guys give up?
I see what the chat's saying, and if that's true.
No, chat's wrong. The Levert is not
that's
Levert.
dead wrong.
I like when Lindsey lets him know.
Has to be Dennis.
Nope. I'll let you guys, it was Jalen Duren. So
whoa.
JD?
This is why. So look, this is the takeaway I wanted to give before we moved on. Just because there's been a lot of people probably wondering, well, how is that the case? Because Duren really struggled in this series. It just again speaks to that the trio of Cade, Ausar, Duren works. When those 3 guys are on the floor, even if Duren is struggling, they fit together and they make things, especially because they're all good defensively now with Duren. Right. When those 3 guys are on the floor now, it's been 2 years of season data, playoff data. As long as you have those 3, you will win. They will win their minutes. So that was the main reason why I wanted to bring it up. But Lindsey bringing up how good Javonte was, I was like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure Javonte was like incredible when they had him on the floor.
He has earned his spot in the rotation.
Yeah,
and he's going to be big against, because I think he can guard, like he was guarding Paolo, so he can guard 1 through 4.
Yep, for sure.
You know,
I think that takes us into a good conversation with the Cavs, Jake.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's been a lot of talk. Obviously, I think in this series between the Cavs and the Pistons, what I find most interesting about this one is that last series, it felt like we were watching the Magic try to beat the Pistons at their own game. And yes, right. Franz getting hurt and all this stuff, whatever. Pistons won. I never thought that any team, and I didn't give Magic enough credit, probably. I mean, they went to 7. I thought they'd win in 5. But the Magic tried to beat the Pistons at their own game. And I don't think there's a team in the NBA that can beat the Pistons in a 7-game series by trying to beat them at their own game. That's why I find this series so interesting, because that's not what's going to happen here. This is going to be strength on strength. It's going to be Cleveland saying, our offense is too good for your defense, and it's going to be the Pistons saying our defense is too good for your offense. Right. And we're going to see who wins that out. I'm very interested to see this. All year, last few months, I have said the teams I think could give the Pistons the most problems in the playoffs are the teams that have a good enough offense that can chip enough at the Pistons defense to where they shift the momentum from, or the responsibility from, the Pistons defense to their offense to keep up. If all of a sudden the responsibility comes upon the Pistons offense to keep up and have to score 120, they'll probably lose those games. And Cleveland has an offense that is really going to test the Pistons, but the Pistons have a defense that's definitely going to test the Cavs. So I am honestly really excited to watch this, because it's going to be strength on strength.
Yeah, it's gonna be curious. I'm curious to know and see where the Cavs offense really comes from, because I watched them play
against the Raptors, and it was
and they struggled. They struggled a lot against the Raptors from getting their 2 main guys to dominate scoring wise. And they got scoring from some of their bigs that stepped up and did the little things and got offensive rebounds and roll rim runs and things like that. They manufacture points totally different than I always thought they would. I thought Harden, being a ball dominant guard, that he didn't quite do what I think they were expecting him to do in that series. He struggled a lot in that series to get his numbers. And if we can keep them at bay like that, hey, I like our chances. If we can guard them and make Harden be a volume scorer, make Donovan Mitchell, do whatever he's going to do, but make it tough for him, we'll be okay. And the fact that Cleveland had some really crazy, timely turnovers a lot of times that I was watching. Like, they try to do things that I'm like, okay, why would Donovan Mitchell, as great as he is, he's trying something that's, splitting 3 people. I mean, they take chances. And if they continue to do that, turn the ball over and give us opportunities to go out and get easy baskets, we'll be fine.
So to back that up, Cleveland was the 2nd worst team in the playoffs in that first round. Turned the ball over. They turned the ball over a ton. Their offense still was able to put up some points, but they turned the ball over a ton. And you do that against the Pistons. I'll say this: if the Raptors are able to turn you over that much and cause that many issues, the Pistons are another level. They were the best team in the NBA this year at turning you over. If they are going to struggle at keeping control of the ball like that, they will not win this series. If they're able to take care of the ball, that's when it really gets interesting. But if they can't take care of the ball and they're giving the Pistons easy opportunities to get out on breaks, it's going to get ugly for them. They will not survive a series against the Pistons if they're turning the ball over.
Yeah, when I watch, go ahead, Lynn.
Yeah. Watching them play against the Raptors, man, I was like, okay. And the Raptors, give them credit because they have a lot of long-rangey defenders that on the perimeter, Scotty Barnes and those guys, they were challenging Donovan Mitchell all night. Like, I was like, okay, they're a little fearless. I was like, they could be scary to run up on in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. Like, they are so unknown, and just watching how hard they played. And that's a team that without one of their main guys was hurt.
Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram was out. And they still managed to push, Cleveland as far as they did. So if we take some notes from them and see, hey, we can get steals, we can get in the passing lanes. They're going to force a lot. Their main scorers are going to force the issue and try to make things happen, even when there's nothing there. If they continue to play reckless like that and we capitalize on it, like you said, Khahil, we'll be fine.
Yeah,
the Raptors. Go ahead, Jake. My fault. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just going to say the same thing, that when I watched Cleveland, they looked, I think you even said it, Lindsey, bothered. They just looked discombobulated, and they obviously have the star power and the multiple threats to be able to take over games on an individual basis, scoring wise. But the way Toronto just disrupted them for the entirety of the series, and even in Game 7, it never felt smooth as far as their productivity and production on the offensive end, despite the obvious star power that they have, and that's exactly what you were saying. So just to reiterate that,
I'd love to get you guys' thoughts on this. The Raptors. There's a lot of Raptors fans, a lot of people watching the series that felt like they were better once Ingram went down, because they were able to then bring in Murray Boyles, and they just went small ball 5, and they switched across. They were able to switch across the board. They had a bunch of length and defenders all over the place, and that really gave Cleveland a lot of fits. The fact they had this many switching defenders and this length to really bother in the passing lanes. What do you guys think we're going to see, like, defensively from the Pistons matchup wise? Do you guys think? Do we see? I know you said we probably will see Javonte, Lindsey. I agree. I think he's earned a role. Do we maybe see more of Ron? Who does Asar guard? Does Asar guard Donovan Mitchell, James Harden? Do you have him someone else to maybe roam? Like, what? Who do you put Cade on? Like, what do you guys? I don't think the Pistons identity isn't switch across the board. They don't switch across. They might switch with Stu on the floor, but their main defense isn't a switch across the board kind of defense. What are you guys thinking we're going to see matchup wise, and how they guard this Cavs defense or offense?
I think you got to put Asar on Mitchell. I think you let Asar deal with him, because Mitchell's going to force the issue. He's gonna be out there trying to make it happen. That's what he does. I like Cade on Harden. I think Cade's length can bother Harden. He can just sit there and not let him get into the paint and contest his threes, because he's gonna waste the shot clock the entire time doing between the legs, between all that crap and step back. So we'll live with that with Cade contesting, and I think we throw Green in on that perimeter, defending those guys, and I think we'll be fine. Who knows who else will play as far as defense is concerned, but I like the matchups for us.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that in the sense that I feel like Asar can be the most disruptive, and thus, it depends on who's having the night type of thing. But I still think Donovan Mitchell poses the biggest threat, and from a one-on-one standpoint, that's the approach to take, with how much confidence Asar must have gained, and not that he needed to by any means, but just the way he played down the stretch in that series. I think he's ready for that matchup, and thus JB and the rest of this coaching staff, which, by the way, I meant to ask earlier, and I know that's kind of a left turn, but I think it's worth noting. I mean, this is a big series for JB Bickerstaff.
Yes.
I mean, he just got extended. We probably should have mentioned that too. He got an extension. We don't know the years or how long or anything, but he got an extension yesterday, apparently. But yeah, I mean, coaching against his former team, going to be big. I mean, they let him go because of playoffs. That's what was said. They let him go because he wasn't able to get through in the playoffs. And now if he were to go to another team, come back from 3-1 and then get his former team, beat them to actually advance in the playoffs. I mean, that is the biggest way to spit in their face, slap them. That's the best thing you could possibly do. And I will give JB credit, man. JB gets a lot of, I think, one of the main criticism JB gets, I see from people, is that he's not the most offensively creative guy.
Right.
I think in at the end of this series, I saw him make a few adjustments that, I mean, I'm sure some fans, I've already seen some fans say, well, why did it take so long? It doesn't matter. He got there. He made a few adjustments at the end of that series that really helped the Pistons half-court offense really get going, and I think could be the key for them long run. I also mentioned his adjustment with JD on defense too. He did some good things in that series at the end to get the Pistons back over the hump, and he's going to have to be at the top of his game here against the Cavs. If he beats them, that's a big way to get revenge on your former team.
Hey, the biggest poetic justice we'll see if JB can get the Pistons past Cleveland, knowing, why they released you. Oh, you released me because I couldn't win in the playoffs. Guess what? I'm going to turn around and beat you. I'm going to beat you in the playoffs to get to the conference finals where you were trying to go.
No doubt. Don't even have to say anything. All right, last note. We'll get into our Q&A like we always do to close it out. So be thinking of some good questions. But last thing before we take one final break, I did want to ask Lindsey, from a player's standpoint, both these opening round series for both these teams go 7 games, and we're into the next round. There's no break. And it's different for every player. And I know what you're going to say because you're wired that way. You're built different. You got that dog in you and everything else. But do you think these guys, there's at one point, and I'll say like guys like James Harden has never really been the epitome of conditioning and up and down and everything like that. Do you think that plays a factor?
Yeah, I mean, all of this, man. Think about it. You played 82 games. You look forward to the playoffs. Like, that's what you're geared to look forward to. Like, okay, we've positioned ourselves regular season. Now the real season begins. Now your mind changes. Like, your mindset changes. We got to go out and win X amount of games to get to the finals. Like, and that's all you think about. That's all you think about is the next series, the next game. And all your ailments and whatever you have going on, you put that behind you. I think our guys, they haven't been there, but I think the way our team is constructed, it just feels like to me we can have a long, long playoff run.
Yeah.
I just feel like we're put together, and I know people are going to criticize the fact that, well, all they have is Cade offensively. I've heard everybody keep saying this crap, and just I don't think anybody's really, a couple of people are picking us, but not many people are picking us to win this series because they just feel like Cleveland's just going to outscore us, and they tell me, well, yeah, the Pistons got defense, but it's puzzling to me because the team that won the championship last year was a great defensive team, so I feel like we're built for this. I feel like, after that first series, of course, I was exhaling after it. I was like, geez, we got through it. So hopefully we got our playoff legs underneath us and we're mentally prepared and ready to go and focus on Cleveland and do what we have to do defensively. I think if we take care of business defensively, the offense will take care of itself.
To back up Lindsey's point before we move on, I remember a few weeks ago before the playoffs started, I talked about how I went back and tried to find how many teams have played like the Pistons that actually made it to the finals? Like, how many teams didn't have a top half-court offense in the league, but made it to the finals because of their defense? And the comparisons went all the way back. Really, the only team was that 2007 Cavs team that made it to the finals. And I said back then, the recipe for the Pistons to succeed and win in the playoffs, their defense has to remain elite, and you keep the game either 1 close or 2, put yourself in a position in the fourth quarter when your best player is the best player on the floor. And that's exactly what just happened in the first round against the Magic.
Yep.
Their defense stayed locked in, and Cade was the best player on the floor. When the fourth quarter came around in those final 3 games, and all 4 games the Pistons won, when the fourth quarter came around, Cade showed up and proved, I'm the best player on the floor. You guys kept the game close. Thank you. I'll take you guys there now. And that's what happened over and over and over again in that Magic series. It will be the same thing in this series against Cleveland. Defensively, stay how good you are, keep them clamped down, and you get to the fourth quarter and allow Cade Cunningham to be better than Donovan Mitchell and James Harden and take you to the promised land.
Right.
I love it. I love it. You guys got me ready to go, man. I did see some questions in the chat. Where can we see this game? Because I don't need to get into that. I'm the broadcast nerd, but
bro, Peacock, I'll say it right now. Prime and Peacock.
Yeah.
Get your stuff together, man. Like if I get one, I swear to God, dude, if I get one more broadcast accidentally ended or blacked out or if I just anything, all of a sudden the audio goes away, bro, it's the playoffs. If you guys ain't ready for this, give it to someone else, dude. But come on, get your stuff together, man.
And I gotta give her a shout out here. My grandma's watching. M. Joe Isaacson, big fan of Lindsey Hunter, the biggest fan.
Grandma, what's up?
But she called me on Sunday and said, Jake, I'm listening in the car to George Blaha because I can't get the game on the TV. And that's just, we can't have that. It's not fair. It's not fair. But she was dialed in listening to the radio call. So shout out to my grandma there.
The game is on Peacock.
It is on Peacock tonight. Is it on? It's on NBC, I believe.
Yes.
Well, okay. So if you have the basic cable, you should be able to get it on NBC.
Also, help people out with that real quick. Sorry. If there's ever another game on ABC, if you have Xfinity, because that's the people that were really running into the problem, you can't view it. If you have Xfinity, you can download the ESPN app and just sign in there and you'll watch on the ESPN app. That was the way I did it.
There's too much going on with all these apps and doing this and doing that. Bro, this is the worst. I'm like, when did it come to this? When did we have to download 27 apps to watch shows, to watch regular television? Like, this is the worst. I hate all this app stuff, and you can't even. Bad. Television isn't the same anymore. You can kids can't even wake up and watch Saturday cartoons anymore. They just turn on the app. Like, we used to get up on Saturdays looking forward to cartoons. Now you got to download 265 apps. You got to have this. You got to buy this and purchase that to just watch a regular show.
Maybe I shouldn't have opened the can of worms, Koo. That's my bad. That's bad hosting. We got one more break. All right, we're coming back in just a second. Q&A is next. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Pistons Squad Show is brought to you by our good friends over at Kalshi. All right, here's how it works. You know, the playoffs are here. It's the most electric time in basketball. And on Kalshi, you can trade every single playoff game, every series, and even the conference finals, and of course, the NBA championship. You've got the different odds, and on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market. You're not against the house. No. You're against your peers. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use that code LOCKEDON to get $10 when you trade 10. Here's what I'm talking about. We've got games coming up, and oh yeah, that's right, the Pistons and Cavs. Check out where that's trading at. Tons of specific matchups to get into, and with the team with the probability to beat the other team, that means $100 trade pays out what that would be. So let's use the Game 7, for example. Obviously, Kalshi knew what they were talking about with Orlando at Detroit. Detroit 77%, payout 127 if you took Orlando. But hey, you'd be out of $100 then too, because we know what happened there. But it all goes on Kalshi. Use that promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi, spelled KALSHI, Kalshi. Trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory. All right, I had a feeling this would happen. Great show. We got a little bit of time left for some Q&A, but you know what? That's when the conversation is flowing. That's when the conversation is rolling. So I'll lead it off. Lindsey, I got to know your best Game 7 memories as a player.
Oh, man, best Game 7 memory. Let me think. I think it was beating Jersey at Jersey. I think that was my best Game 7 memory. I remember I had a great game too, and we beat those bums. Because we were talking about we were before the game. We were like, okay, got to go to Game 7. Got to go Jersey. Hey, let's pack our bags for LA because we go after we beat these bums. We're gonna go to LA. That's all we were talking about before the last game. So that was one of the funnest memories that I've ever had in Game 7. And the Game 7 being, well, we didn't even go to Game 7 with the Lakers. It was just we were up 30 with the, and I had the ball in my hands at the end of the game. So
oh man,
that has to be crazy.
Oh man, it was so loud in the Palace. You could not hear anything. Deafening.
I wish I was there for that.
Oh my God, cool. It was.
I was too young.
That's the first time in my life that I've been in a crowd where you couldn't talk to each other on the court.
Man, that's electrifying.
All right, we got a good one. Oh, you guys got me still?
Yep, I got you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We got a good one here
lost
from.
you, Jake.
I can hear you. I can hear you guys.
Yeah, you're back.
Go ahead.
From Braylon Dennis here. Didn't we used to put Asar on Mobley before?
So they put Asar and Mobley in matchups where they were missing like Tobias. Like there was a matchup last year where they were missing Tobias and they just slide Asar down to the floor. There was a few times when they would test it out. They would run Duren and Asar and go smaller and then just put Asar and Mobley and kind of roam off of him. I won't be shocked if they try to do that a little bit, but I think the main focus for this will be Asar stay on Mitchell and try to limit dribble penetration. I won't be shocked if we'll have to see how it goes. I would be honestly, I would be a little shocked if JB tried to go small at times in this one, but if they do, you will see Asar and Mobley because it allows him to roam a little bit more, and he's a good rebounder and can keep him on the off the glass.
No doubt. I think Lindsey's internet connection might be kind of going in and out, so we'll just. Can you still hear us? I think.
Yeah, I'm here. You can see me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, you're good.
Gotcha. This is not a question, just a statement of fact. Lindsey is fantastic, and that's that's literally what Ku and I say after every show. We're like, man, Lindsey's killing me out there, man.
I see a question here from Myesh 32. Says, what bench guy do you think will get the most or get more minutes in this series?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Can you hear us, Lindsey?
What do you say? Yeah, I'm perfect.
The question from Myesh was, what bench guy do you think will get more minutes in this series? Yeah, I think we're Lindsey's connection going in and out. I'll answer the question real quick while he figures that out. And we wrap up the podcast. I think Ron might get more minutes. I know there's a lot of talk. There's been a lot of people asking, will Ron play in this series? Why hasn't he played? Is he going to play? Is he going to play? I get it. I think the player that probably will get more minutes in this series more likely is Herter. I think Herter will probably get a lot more minutes in this one because he'll be healthier. It sounds like he's going to be healthy for this game or for this series. I think they'll play Herter a little bit more, especially if Duncan starts to get really targeted on the defensive end. I think they'll go to Herter a little bit more. The whole thing with Ron, I'm going to be interested to see, does he play Ron a little bit more? Because, again, look, Javonte was incredible in this past series, and Javonte's the one really taking Ron's minutes. So because of how good Javonte was and because of how good or how they can rely on him to hit some shots from beyond the arc, and also, again, JB really got frustrated with Ron in the beginning of that last series and kind of lost his trust. Now, that's fine. He's 20 years old. It's not a big deal. But I don't know if it's – I think JB has kind of found a rotation that he likes and people that he trusts.
Right.
So if I don't know if he'll go back to Ron. If he does, if Ron plays well, that could be great having another defender. But I think we're probably seeing the trusted rotation that JB has kind of gone with. And I think Green's earned it, to be honest. I think, and that's fine. Ron's 20, but I think Green has kind of earned that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Green was phenomenal against Orlando. Proved that, he deserves to play. And most coaches, if you watch around the league, man, once a coach locks in on a playoff roster and a playoff rotation, that's what they stick with. And unfortunately, Ron's been out of the rotation, but you never know what can happen. We may need a wing defender, an extra wing defender this series, and he may get an opportunity. So he just have to stay ready.
Jake, I see two questions here. Can we answer those two real quick? We ran out of time.
No, dude, go ahead.
There was one more question I see that, and there was a few. There's just one that I caught. It was asking, I forget who it was, but it was asking, who do you guys think will be the swing factor, the X factor for the Pistons in this series, if you had to pick one player?
We've been talking about him all show. I mean, Javonte Green, that's one to put on the list. And you know, I don't want to be labeled as, you know, always looking for the underdog role player kind of thing. And when Dennis, sorry, not Dennis Schroeder, that's where my mind was going. That's going to be a fun matchup, those guys. Yes. And then with Green, I just feel like that, you know, like stars are going to be stars. They have to be. But, right. You know, that role player that can, and it's going to be, you know, one of the games, not every game, but just to help steal a game. I think that's so important.
Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, but I'm okay. I know we're talking about bench players, but watching Cleveland, their bigs aren't as physical as Orlando was. They are more finesse. I think this allows JD to be JD. I think this allows Duren to be Duren. Now, of course, I think Cleveland's going to take a book out of Orlando's playbook and say, we're not going to give you these easy roles. We're going to stop, you know, we're going to tag you early. But I still think he'll have more of a free range of running around and being able to do some things offensively that he wasn't able to do last series. So I think I know he's not a bench guy, but I think he's our guy that can really swing this series huge in our favor if he can dominate the way that we are accustomed to him doing.
So I was going to say JD as well for the exact reasons you're saying, Lindsey. So I'll go with a different answer. I'll say Asar. I think if the Pistons, because they're going to put Mobley on Asar and sag off of him and try to roam, do the same thing that Orlando did except with Jalen Suggs. Mobley's obviously a bigger body, longer, is able to do more things defensively. If the Pistons and Asar can do more of what we saw in the last few games of that series and figuring out how to use him offensively as like a DHO initiator, as a playmaker, as an initiator, and try to open up space, if they can do that, I think it really will make Cleveland second guess putting Mobley on Asar. And if they can just continue to do that, I think that's going to be big for their offense. And I think if they're not able to do that, we'll have the conversations again of, well, should JP just take Asar off the floor? And that I really don't want to have to get into that whole conversation. I think that ends up hurting the team. So if Asar and the team can figure out how to use his playmaking to make them pay for playing Mobley off of him, I think that will swing. But my first answer, I was going to agree with Lindsey. I had JD as well for the exact same reasons.
And cool, you were talking about how teams sag off of Asar. Like I remember playing against, we were playing against Boston, and we would do that to Rondo. We would like, I'm guarding Rondo, dude. I'm the help. I'm the designated help wherever. I'm gonna let you know where I'm coming from. And what Boston would do with Rondo, man, they would have that joker in the dunker spot.
Yep.
Like they would put him all over the place and would force you as a designated help guy. Like you have to constantly be reading the situations because they would put him in the dunker spot and have the play being ran over here. And then I'll be, you know, so there are a lot of creative things that we could do if they try to have a roamer per se, leave Asar wide open, especially with him because he's a guy that can play over the rim. So I'm sure JB can put some things together and say, okay, we're going to give him a free run to the rim, and we're going to have some lob plays drawn up for him, some things to make you realize you can't just leave him and be roaming around, you know, helping out on everybody.
Jake, there was one fun one that should be quick. I know we're running out of time, but there was one fun one I thought Lindsey would like. This one's from BBQ and Bear Adventures. It says, Lindsey, which one was a better road comeback win? Being down at halftime in the conference finals against Indiana or in Chicago versus Ben Wallace and the Bulls in 2007?
Oh, Indiana by far. Indiana, because we hate those guys. Anytime we can humiliate them, what we did. Hey, I love Reggie Miller, but it was an honor retiring him when we beat them in the playoffs. You know, shook his hand, was like, great career, buddy. Not this time. Not against us.
Oh, man. I remember watching that with my dad. He couldn't stand Reggie Miller, and he was so happy, you know.
And the crazy thing about it, Jake, he's a great guy. Like, I love him he's a great guy. Mm-hmm. But he had that Indiana jersey on. We was like, we would love nothing more than to send you into retirement without getting to the finals.
No doubt. Oh, that's the appropriate ending spot for another fantastic show. We got game 1 tonight. Cannot wait. NBC and Peacock. and our weekly show schedule will work out perfectly because we'll be back on Thursday, recap that one, and then look ahead to game 2 as well.
Lindsey, will you be there tonight?
I'm thinking about it, man. I think I need to save my energy for game 2. I've been going extra hard, bro. I'm like, man. I'm debating.
Actually, you know what? I thought of an even better place to end. Our FaceTime Friday night was wild. I mean, Lindsey we were feeling it. I was so excited, man. Koo was so excited. And like, I don't know, that's when it clicked to me that we're taking this game 7. I'm FaceTiming Lindsey Hunter and Koo right now. We have to take game 7. But no, that was fun. I appreciate you guys so much.
It was hilarious too, because I had so many listeners DM me and message me. It was like, tell Lindsey to keep drinking and stay it off.
whatever it takes. Oh my gosh.
That's hilarious.
Oh man. All right. For the host of Locked On Pistons, Khahil, 2-time NBA champ, Lindsey Hunter. My name's Jake Riepma. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you on Thursday. Goodbye.